questions for any members of the committee?
Well, I have. First of all, I think it's pretty clever that an email was sent out to the staff and no one bothered to send an email and those out to managers. Well, that was a bit cack-handed. So once again, we were contacted by the press to say, did you know? So again, this has been handled not at all well. The other thing in terms of this, I have had for some time, some considerable time, questions and requests, and even in some cases reports about some of the issues floating around surrounding the current chief executive. And I would have hoped, and I think I made it clear when I asked, that some of those issues could have been resolved prior to, this matter going forward. So I do have something to move, but I am concerned when you look at some of the other inquiries or investigations we've had, when the information comes back, well, either some sort of agreement has been signed, so therefore it's closed, you're allowed, so you never get the answers to those questions that you ask, or someone has left, so they simply refuse to participate in any discussions or investigations or information gathering anyway. And I do think that some of the issues, as we'll all find out tomorrow, that some of the issues surrounding the council are still so large that I think it would be inappropriate at this stage for us to allow the chief executive to retire at this moment until some of these issues that have been hanging around have been resolved. So I think there's a series of questions in that, but I also have something to do that would be helpful.
Before we listen to that, has anyone got any comments?
Can I just ask Chris? Chris, am I right in thinking that Jim Wilkie is effectively communicated with us in terms of asking for the CVR? Could you? I think that's right.
Okay.
Could you just elaborate on what he said?
What I can do for the benefit of the committee is to just outline some of a brief acknowledgement. On the 6th of February this year, I did have a conversation with the Chief Executive in which I did make a file note, was that he had come to the judgment that it was in the best interest of the Council to appoint a new Chief Executive. And that was following the settlement of the Improvement Board and discussions about taking forward the improvement plan and the significant challenges in doing that. He did actually speak to the then leader of the council to request EVR on the 7th of the 2nd, and again I found notes around that. He was asked the next day to reflect on this decision. Clearly, in the interim, there were a change in administration. What I do understand is that he had informal conversations with the leaders of all three groups. He has formally written on the 11th of May to request EVR, making reference back to the discussion with the leader and himself back in February. And whilst clearly he's written a confidential letter, it's not a decision that he's come to lightly, and in view of the exceptional challenges facing the council, he feels that he should make way for somebody else to take the council forward and to make the changes that need to be made.
Thank you for that. Do you have
All right, yeah.
any addition you want to make?
Well, I've got some copies. Circulate those. It says, the committee notes, one, the contribution and service Mr. Wilkie has given to the people of Borough over the last 23 years. Two, the decision of Mr. Wilkie advised by the Director of Finance and the Director of Law to allow two members of staff to leave under compromise agreements less than one working day prior to the publication of the AKA report, without bringing any potential the report of Mr Wilkie, agenda item 15.
let's imagine that the resolution that Councillor Green's put forward is passed. The person disappeared to return to work. And in those circumstances, the kind of investigative work that Councillor Green alludes to in the resolution would be impossible or very difficult to carry out anyway. So I'm not sure as to what Jeff is moving at against the zone there, apart from creating more difficulties. And in those circumstances, I'm agreeable to the request of the office to take the area land to be acceded to.
Well, we have a motion before us on the second. Would you like to make any comment? Okay, should we go to the vote on the motion before us? Okay, those in favour? Those against?
The guidelines would be accept the EDR application.
Yeah, is that seconded?